Ladies and gentlemen, before I get to Madam Cyberhack, the 2020 Democratic nominee, before I get to that, okay, here's an article in The Hill by John Solomon, May 2nd, 2019. Ukrainian embassy confirms DNC contractor solicited Trump dirt in 2016. The boomerang from the Democratic Party's failed attempt to connect Donald Trump to Russia's 2016 election meddling is picking up speed, and its flight path crosses right through Moscow's pesky neighbor, Ukraine. And it goes on to say, in its most detailed account yet, the Ukrainian embassy in Washington says a Democratic National Committee insider during the 2016 election solicited dirt on Donald Trump's campaign chairman and even tried to enlist the country's president to help. Why do you think Madam Cyberhack, the Golden Muumuu today, writes, the president asked a foreign power to help him win again? To help him win an election again. President Trump never asked Russia to hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. The original sin is Bernie Sanders being cheated, which they've then inoculated themselves from by saying that the Russians wanted us to know Bernie Sanders was cheated because that would help Trump because they were afraid of Clinton, even though Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin outside his home while the uranium deal was going down. That is a fact. And cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. This is all a fact. And then Bill Clinton gets $500,000 speaking arrangement in Moscow. Okay. Forget about the fact that, yes, there's no way that anyone other than Clinton is going to be the 2020 nominee, and she's running again. This is all a farce and a theatrical performance. Obviously, all of this is taking place to pave the way for Clinton. Look, Clinton actually did commit crimes with private servers outside of the United States government. You cannot do that as a government employee. Any employee anywhere cannot just, you can't, if you work at Microsoft, if you work at Apple, if you work at any law firm, whatever, you can't install your own private servers. Certainly not in the U.S. government, and certainly not with classified intelligence, and certainly not with top secret intelligence. She was able to do so. She committed crimes. President Obama did not know of this allegedly. Of course he knew. Then they purchased a dossier to start an election, to start interfering in the election. They're the ones who did this because they're the ones who cheated Bernie Sanders. That was a fraud committed. And the only people courageous enough to fight back were Nico House, Jared Beck, and Elizabeth Beck in the DNC fraud lawsuit. But of course Clinton is running again. Why? Because she's accusing Trump of asking the Ukraine to find out if, in this case, Biden did something unlawful. And then Giuliani last night with Fredo, they got into it. And you get this, like, it's almost like the anchors on CNN are like little middle schoolers. And they're like, you said this, didn't you? No, I wanted to find out if the DNC, which is what I just read now, in written answers, Ambassador Valerie, okay, so Chelly says at the time, hold on, let's see. DNC contractor Alexandra Chalupa sought information from the Ukrainian government on Paul Manafort's dealing inside the country in hopes of forcing the issue before Congress. It was the DNC who tried to work with Ukraine, who tried to interfere in the election with the Ukraine. It was it was Clinton's campaign through her law firm who purchased a dossier. That is what they've done is they have inoculated themselves. They have circumvented responsibility for their underhanded acts by trying to accuse Trump of doing, look, millions of people are convinced he worked with Russia. They don't understand what meddling in election interference means is finding out the shady behavior of Democrats, the oftentimes illegal and oftentimes unethical, almost always unethical behavior. Finding out about what they did is equivalent in their minds to a foreign country interfering and meddling. How dare you, as a foreign nation, how dare you inform this country of how duplicitous and disingenuous the Democratic Party is? How dare you inform us that the DNC was trying to interfere in the election by getting dirt on Manafort? Why did a DNC official contractor, Alexander Chalupa, try to find information from the Ukrainian government on Paul Manafort? The embassy got to know Ms. Chalupa because of her engagement with the Ukrainian and other diasporas in Washington, D.C., and not in her DNC capacity. We've learned about her DNC involvement later, Chaley said in a statement issued by the embassy. Quote, "We were surprised to see Alexandra's interest in Mr. Paul Manafort's case. It was her own cause. The embassy representatives unambiguously refused to get involved in any way as we were convinced that this is a strictly U.S. domestic matter." Reached by phone, Chalupa said she was too busy to talk. She did not respond to email. Chaley's written answers. Okay, so in that story, the embassy was broadly quoted as denying interference in the election and suggested Chalupa's main reason for... Okay, so... yeah, right. It was Chalupa's main reason was to contact the ambassador's office was to organize an event celebrating female leaders. Right, okay. So, you have the DNC reaching out to the Ukraine. Less than a month later, the ledger identifying payments to Manafort was announced in Ukraine. And then you have Chalupa writing in a DNC email, quote, "A lot more coming down the pipe," wrote a top DNC official on May 3rd, 2016, recounting her effort to educate Ukrainian journalists and Isakov about Manafort. Don't you just love how there are journalists who really truly believe that the DNC and corrupt intelligence chiefs are giving them the true story, that they're not conduits for propaganda? No. This is national security. Do you want a foreign power letting other people know that the DNC cheated its own candidate in Bernie Sanders and that the DNC was trying to set up Manafort by reaching out to the Ukraine? And so what they do is they say, well, the DNC official, that they weren't asking for an investigation. They weren't asking for a formal investigation, were they? No, that was Trump. No, Trump was demanding that. That's against the law. No, it's not. It's not against the law to find out if Democrats actually committed crimes. So with Biden, he's the one who actually dangled $1 billion and said, you better not investigate my son. He's the one who did that. And he was very proud of it, and he's even bragging about that in a video. So it is 100% above board and normal and right and just and everything fine with President Trump seeing if his political rival actually committed a crime because he's on tape admitting it. But again, the way they spin it is, you're trying to interfere in the election again? It's like, no! The ODNI and DHS reports come with warranty disclaimers. The United States government has no evidence, absolutely zero evidence that Russia hacked the DNC. And if they did, they would have known that Clinton had private servers, because Cheryl Mills in one of the emails says, in the campaign email says, President Obama, he knows that she doesn't have a state.gov. And I wrote about that in the Daily Caller, saying that because of that email, Cheryl Mills should not have been given attorney-client privilege. And I explained in my Federalist articles below that there was no evidence for anything. So they didn't have any evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. James Clapper stated there was no evidence. This is so easy to see what's going on. It's like you're caught in bed with another person, your spouse comes in, and then you say, how dare you open the door? You're trying to interfere in my private, you're trying to spy on me. It's like, what are you talking about? You're in our bed with another person. How dare you? No, how dare you? How dare you try to find this out? You don't trust me, do you? It's like, why should I trust you? No, you don't trust me. It's so easy. So all of this, you think this entire charade was for Warren? When Clinton eventually runs, whether it's late October, early October, late November, early November, December, for Christmas, whatever, January or February, before Iowa or after Iowa, it doesn't matter when, she is going to run. I'm the only person on the planet telling everyone that she's going to run, only person in media that I've been consistently telling people she's going to run since 2017. It'll be the biggest call in history. I don't know. It'll be one of the biggest calls in recent political history. CNN, Washington Post, they're not telling you. Clinton's going to run again. All of this is for Clinton to run again. All of it. There's a political machine that the Golden Muumuu runs. She's going to levitate above the DNC, and they're all going to go, oh, I love you. You just look at, like, Hillary Clinton writes this, and then you get people, I'm so sorry many people didn't believe you. You were right about everything. Like, what was she right about? Record low Black and Latino unemployment, record low national unemployment levels. The beginning of peace between North and South Korea, the first president to step foot in North Korea for the First Step Act. Criminal justice reform. The unemployment rate for Latino or Hispanic men is actually less than the national average. That's 3.1%. The national average is 3.7%. So is that what Clinton was right about? Oh, the horror. This is a good thing. These are good things that President Trump is presiding over. Very good things. And then you get people like, well, he asked Russia to help him. It's like, no, it was cash flowed to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. They don't care. I suggest you don't even debate for the next year. For the next year, it's almost a year, exactly a year away. You do not debate with anyone who is going to vote for Clinton. It is not worth it. Eventually, my website will come out. It's coming out very soon, regarding how you can defeat anybody on the left in a debate regarding President Trump, or if they accuse Trump of anything, whatever. But you have to understand, this is not by accident. You can't, this is a political machine that runs off of a political machine that runs on public relations. So with Chris Cuomo last night, when you saw, him was like, you said to investigate Biden, didn't you? No, I asked the Ukrainian officials if Biden committed a crime in trying to swing the election, or if the DNC tried to swing the election. Oh, no. He was talking about if Biden had committed a crime by using the $1 billion to get his son off the hook. Oh, so you did ask them? No, I didn't ask them to formally investigate. I asked if there was any truth to the allegations. Oh, so you did? Why didn't you just say you would try to interfere and meddle? That's what you were trying to do. They live in their own world where these words like meddling and interference trigger them. They live in their own fantasy world, their own reality. Democrats live in their own reality. They don't live in the reality that you live in. That's why when Clinton runs again, many people aren't even going to flinch. They're going to be like so happy and wonderful. She's running again. And when people say, she's not running, why? Because you don't think she is? Well, she said she wasn't. No, she didn't. She didn't say she wasn't running. She said when asked, do you want to run again? These questions, even the questioners, the people who ask, they know exactly it's a public relations stunt. They're in on it. That's the way Clinton works. She wanted to get the image, the public relations spin that she wasn't running. So you're stuck with Biden. Do you think if she said, well, I'll think about it, you would get immediate pushback? Just like in 2015, early 2015, if the DNC was like, oh yeah, we're going to cheat Bernie Sanders, nobody would stand for that. They would never have stood for that. But as, the politics changes every single day. And the whims and the desires and the objectives of Democrats change every day, and they realize, okay, well, Clinton's not running. What do we do now? So then Clinton wants them to come to her. She was running since 2016 when she lost. I wrote in the Huffington Post in February of 2017, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. And that's when I was on the left. Now, and then I wrote in the Times of Israel, Clinton is going to run again. She's going to lose again. Clinton will lose again. The economy's too good. There's a bunch of other issues as well. All of this from the Steele dossier, why do you think this is happening? Do you really think it's national security that the Russians interfered in the election? I don't care if Trey Gowdy, I don't care if Paul Ryan agrees. They are going, they don't have, in their minds, they don't have any reason to disagree with the intelligence community assessment because President Trump's intelligence chief said the same thing. Who cares? The Russians did not hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated, because if they did, they would have known from the campaign emails and the DNC emails that Clinton had a private server. Because they also hacked her campaign, correct? In the campaign emails, Cheryl Mills talks about her private servers. Why wouldn't they have infiltrated her private servers with top secret intelligence? Even the propaganda points to their own criminal activity. They're not even good at being corrupt. It's so easy to decipher. Do you think that Warren has a chance to win the Democratic primary with less than 4% of African American support? You need an overwhelming African American support and black voters to support you if you're going to win the Democratic primary. Hillary Clinton has that support. Hillary Clinton has the support of the entire Democratic Party because the Democratic Party doesn't exist. It's a political machine. But even if, let's say, it wasn't a political machine, Warren does not have the base of support among Democrats throughout the country. She's one half of the Bernie Sanders coin, which, has been tossed aside by Democrats. Democrats do not want Medicare for all. It's another ridiculous, sad, pathetic, marketing spin. They don't want it. Where's the Medicare for all bill, the Abolish ICE bill, the Voting Rights Amendment? Why haven't they voted on a voting rights bill? They don't care about any of these things. Green New Deal bill. It's a resolution. They don't care about any of these things. It's all, look, they already bluffed, and America called their hand, and they said, okay, yeah, we have nothing. When push comes to shove, we will cheat Bernie Sanders for Clinton. What makes anyone think they're not going to do the same thing, or they're not doing the same thing? You saw what happened to Tulsi Gabbard. And it's interesting because when you look at what happened, what's taking place with Biden, and then he fought Cornflakes and Count Chocula and Captain Crunch and all this stuff. His whole thing is that oh my God, I'm so awesome. Look what I did. Anything he does, any story he tells, anything he does, whether it's, a third eye being formed on national TV, an alien popping out of his stomach, and hello, my baby, hello, just like the the Mel Brooks movie. It's like, with the top hat and the cane. And then, oh, it's okay. It's easy. It's all, it's fine. No, it's not. He's not going to defeat Trump. There's no way he can defeat Trump. And I don't care. The polls right now saying that he can defeat Trump, Democrats are being called, okay? Democrats. Just the same polls that said that Clinton would defeat Trump by 20 points or whatever. Democrats don't keep their lead in polls, okay? Anyway, I was saying Clinton was unelectable in 2015. It is completely and utterly irrelevant that she's unelectable in 2020. Stop thinking rationally about something that's irrational. It's a political machine. They don't care if she wins or loses. They benefit anyway. You think when you go to a famous Hollywood actor's house for $350,000 per plate to be with Clinton that you're going to speak to Clinton? You're not going there for the golden muumuu who doesn't care if you exist. You're going there to pitch your screenplay or your writing or your idea for a movie or your project in some big city or your real estate project or whatever. Or going to get money for your tech startup. It's called marketing. It's called networking. You can either go to a bank and say, hey, I need about $5 million, or you can engage in venture capital on your own and go to these networking functions and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to give $250,000 to Hillary and sit near her. And guess what? Everyone at that place, whether it's at the Clooney's house or the DNC fundraiser she's going to have, every single person, if you're spending $50,000 per plate, has millions of dollars at their disposal. And if they lose $500, it's not a problem to them. $500,000 being lost in an investment is very likely not a big, huge dilemma for them. It's not good. So they're willing to invest. Politicians, same thing. It's a system of graft. It's a legal system of graft that the Democrats have perfected because Bill and Hillary with the Clinton Foundation, they know every, not only wealthy person, but powerful and influential person in Washington, D.C. And guess what? The Paul Ryans of the world are in on it also. Why do you think Jeff Flake and McCain and all of them are like, oh my God, Trump? Because he's upending the apple cart. He doesn't care at all. He has his own money. He doesn't care. That's why when he's like on the phone with the Ukrainian president, he's like, oh, by the way, is there any truth to the fact that Biden tried to dangle $1 billion for you not to investigate him and his son? That's turned into, you're interfering in the election. How dare you? It's like, no, there's no interference. We're trying to find out if actual criminal activity took place. Just like when you cheated Bernie Sanders and you said it was fair and neutral and Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. Just like when the DNC actually contacted the Ukraine to try to get info on Manafort. They were setting up Manafort long before the Mueller probe got him. This was by design, and it's not some bizarre, theory. It's actually evidence. The evidence shows that Trump was set up, from a Steele dossier to the DNC contacting the Ukraine to Bernie Sanders being cheated, and that's a part of it. Now, Bernie Sanders is in on pretty much everything. Maybe he didn't think that he would be cheated, but once he found out, he was just part of the same system that he claimed to fight against. You could not find a more failed, a more pathetic, a more cowardly decision than to foment the belief that Trump worked with Russia, which is what Bernie Sanders did. He could have shown just a little bit of integrity and said, look, this is nonsense. I was cheated. I don't like Trump's policies, but you know what? I was cheated. And I'm not going to say that the Russians cheated me because it was Debbie Wasserman Schultz who did. And people like me might still be with him. I mean, if he had just showed some integrity, thank God he doesn't have a spine, and he just bent both knees to Madam Cyberhack. And thank God that I'm a Trump supporter, because he's a very good president. And all the people who don't like him, the majority of whom are quite despicable. And they exist to condemn and judge. That's it. Their lives exist for that. And without Twitter, oh my God, what meaning would they have in life if not for Twitter? Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'm going to try to do a live stream like around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock tonight, Pacific. And it's really unbelievable. And by the way, to my new Patreon, Michael R. Sheffield, thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciated. And thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much. And to all my Patreons, thank you. And to everyone who supports my channel, thank you. And to all the kind words, thank you. The people, the comment section is absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Hillary Clinton is going to not only be the Democratic nominee. There is no Democratic Party. It's an extension of two people. Everything that I've ever said since 2015 will be vindicated beyond belief when she announces the run. Not the runs, which could be, but the run for presidency. And once that happens, it'll be an amazing day, because the charade will be, end. And we'll find out exactly why everything happened. And Trump will win again, but it's completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant that they're going to lose again. Stop thinking in that way. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Hey, but you're going to lose again. Who cares? They don't care. They don't care. But she wouldn't run again. I mean, she's a damaged goods. She's going to lose. They don't care about losing. Stop it. They don't care. They care about one thing. Being an extension of two people that they feel, who knows, there's a psychological issues there too. Clinton's going to run again. She's going to lose to Trump again, and this will be the second election where I accurately predicted what took place. But I am the only person in media today since 2017 saying the same thing almost every day. That Clinton is going to run, and all of this was to pave the way for Clinton 2020. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Thank you.